Hey there, hopefuls. If organizing your home has ever felt harder than it should, or you've tried and it just didn't work, there's probably a reason, and it may have absolutely nothing to do with how organized you yourself are. So let's walk through how to organize your spaces and how they function, and a simple method for putting and keeping it all together. Today, we're going to talk about organizing styles, spaces, and applying the 3S method. So let's jump right in because understanding yourself is laying the foundation to the roadmap for getting organized. First up, we're going to talk about styles. And when we're talking about styles, there's four that you're going to hear us discuss throughout the community here at Hopeful Simplicity. And it's macro organizing, which is one step put away, micro organizing, which is the opposite of that, and it's the one step retrieval. Visual organizing, where you kind of have to have it out because seeing it is believing you have it. And the non visual organizing is that visual overwhelm where too much is simply too much. Let's break those down a little bit. Macro organizing, if you've ever noticed that piles are landing around containers or around systems, or that you were like, no, I just want to drop it and go. Those are your steps that you're probably a macro organizer, right? That one step put away, I want to put it away, be done. So you're going to avoid things like lids. You're going to avoid things like very detailed systems inside drawers, or maybe even just skip the hangers and get some hooks. Now, after that, you're going to look at the opposite of the micro organizer. It's that one step retrieval. You may be making piles to wait and create that it has to be perfect system for organizing. Or you're going to get super hyper focused to have containers inside containers inside containers. Everything is very detailed because when I go to find it, I'm not going to dig through it. We also want to talk about visual and non-visual organizing. First, we're going to talk about visual because a lot of people will get anxiety in a way. They feel like if I can't see it, I don't have it. That's the seeing is believing. I have to have it out so I know that I have it. Because if it's out of my sight, it's beyond out of my mind. I just don't have it. It's not a thing. You're going to notice that some of those common signs are I put Post-its everywhere so I remember I have it. I have little piles here, here, and here so I remember and I see them. I know that I have it. They can be organized piles. You can visually organize, but everything is out so you know that you have it. That is a visual organizing. Now, the opposite of that is non-visual organizing, where tucking things away is goals, right? It's the feeling of overwhelm if visual clutter is a lot. And so if you've ever just taken everything off the countertop and shoved it in a drawer or tucked it in a cabinet or anything like that, that's non-visual preferences. Like, I just want it to be clear. I don't care what it looks like behind the door, tucked in the drawer. I don't care about that. I just can't see it. That's your sign that you're probably a non-visual organizer. We're going to also talk about spaces. And you may be thinking, most of my house is my space, and I get that. But there's more to it than that. There's these spaces that home all of our stuff. And it may not be just your stuff. So when we look at the spaces inside a room, and we'll talk a lot about small spaces as your organizing journey grows here, but single serve means it's just got one person's things. Maybe only your socks are in that drawer, or only the kids' Barbies are in that box. That's a single serve space. It's only holding one person's things, and that one person is in charge of maintaining that small space. Now, the opposite of that is a shared space. Think fridge, pantry, living room. A lot of people's things live here. Multiple people's things will live in this space, right? The kids' snacks, your coffee creamer, and his fruit cups all live in the fridge. That means all of our belongings are in there, which means we're all responsible for maintaining it. So when you're looking at spaces and you're like, why is this always messy? Okay, well, how many hands are in it? If it's just you handling it, or is it just you and people handling it? That will help you determine what kind of space it is. And then we can talk about organizing it and keeping it that way in a different way. Now that you're a little more comfortable with the styles and the spaces, I want to talk about the plan, because a lot of times we get organized and we don't realize that, you know what? I was trying to do this a different way. And that's not the way that works for me. I need something simple. I need to know exactly the steps to go. And that's where the 3S method comes in. The 3S method is designed for those 15-minute finds throughout your house. It's 3 simple steps to create that realistic home that's maintainable and organized and works for real life. We always simplify first because we want to get rid of things that are not serving our current selves. We don't want to organize clutter. So we have to simplify first. Now, after we've simplified, we want to sort. And that's creating homes based on the styles and spaces that we previously talked about. Creating those homes for every single thing in the house. Now, once everything is organized, we want it to stay that way, right? We want to sustain an organized life. And we do that by creating routines and habits and steps and schedules to stay uncluttered and organized. Let's break that down a little more. So simplifying, when you're simplifying, you're decluttering, which means we're getting rid of things that don't serve our current selves. Now let's break that down even more because my goal with the 3S method is to make you make less to no decisions. You're just going to yes or no, yes or no. Does it fall in this category? Yes or no. And then there's your decision. So you're going to look for expired, outgrown, and unused items. Now expired's beyond the date, right? It's past its useful life. So if those shoes have holes in them and your feet get wet when it's rain, that's an expired item. It doesn't need a date on it. Obviously, if the chip bag is left open in the pantry, it could have a date on it. But if it's left open and everything's stale, again, expired item. Most of the time, you're going to go with your gut on these and just think, oh, this is past its best used and usable date. Now, outgrown, think seasons of life, think phases of life. It's not just my kids outgrew those jeans. It's I used to work at the office and now I work from home. So I don't need all the fancy high heels and suits and ties or dresses, all those. It just doesn't fit that part of your life. That can look similar to unused, but unused means we're just not using it. It doesn't not just fit our lives, we're just not using it. So if you look around on a shelf and you see things with a bunch of dust on it, and not because you don't like dusting, but because they're just not being used, toys, puzzles, protein mix in the back of the pantry, those things they're just not part of your life anymore. So they're being unused. So simplifying, get rid of expired, outgrown, and unused items. Then we can move into organizing them with our sort step. Now, sorting is creating homes for everything, homes and successful systems. And we're going to do all that based on your styles, your spaces, but we want to focus on setting it up for your success. We talked about styles. So you want to build those styles to how you naturally think, how you naturally work and function in your spaces. And again, who's responsible for those spaces? Whose stuff is actually in that area? Whose hands are going to be touching it? Who's going to be responsible for it? And how are we going to maintain it? And I don't want you to set it up for my success. I don't live there. I don't want you to set it up for the in-law success because they may come over judgy, or what you saw on Pinterest, or what the end cap said at the market. I want you to set it up for success so you can actually live in your home every day and have real lives and have real messes that are easy to clean up because you have sorted systems. Now, after we've gotten rid of everything that doesn't serve us, we've created homes that actually work for us. We want to keep it that way. We're not doing I tried to get organized and it doesn't work. No, we're now doing I got organized and I'm keeping it this way because I have the 3S method. Part of the 3S method is checking back in with spaces, is having habits in place, is making sure that you're set up and ready to go. And you can just follow the list. Just every 6 months on the 1st, I know my alarm goes off and I got to check back in with that room. So if you did the kitchen in January, you're going to do the kitchen in 6 months from January. And so in July, right? So you're going to think about those habits. What is something you do every day? You probably brush your teeth every day without thinking about it. So eventually doing the dishes every day will be something you don't have to think about, or making the bed, or once a week, you're going to clean the bathrooms or do the laundry. Laundry is its own beast because it's not really a done situation because you're probably wearing clothes. There's some in the basket. There's some in the washer. That's always in a phase. Dishes can get done every night. Brushing your teeth can happen every day. Making your bed can get done every day. So those habits and routines are those regular rhythm things that keep clutter from piling back up, that keep systems organized, but they're smaller lifts to help support your day-to-day life. And then we do want to check in. We want to make sure that we check in with spaces every day. We want to make sure that once a year we're calling the plumber out to make sure the drains are worked, or the electrician out to make sure plugs are not faulty or screwy or anything like that. Those are the sustaining steps to keep the clutter away, but keep the house organized as well. Now we get to put it in practice. You've learned your styles. You learned about your spaces. You're ready to embrace the 3S method. Your styles, macro, micro, visual, non-visual. And those can vary from room to room and even space to space. Your spaces, is it serving you or is it serving more than you? And who's going to be responsible for it? 3S method. We simplify, we sort, then we sustain. So now we put it all together and we grab that free Core 4 starter kit. This is going to get you through decluttering, organizing, and scheduling sustaining steps for your kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, and living spaces. And it's free. It gets you started, simple steps to make your home more organized and a whole lot more hopeful. Until next time, stay hopeful.